In 2000, me and Deb decided we wanted another child, so we went with the foster care system, so we started going to the classes. We had one more class left, and that following Monday, my brother was killed, struck by lightning, and he had two little boys, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, and his wife. And at that time, we felt that I needed to be there with the boys. We needed to be there to support them. 1987, I won a trip to China, and I won a trip to Hong Kong. We went into China on a day pass, and there was one day we were supposed to go shopping as a group. Well, that day they said we got a chance to go into China for one day if anybody would like to go. But we went in there and the bus took us to all kinds of restaurants and markets and stuff in the countryside. And got off the bus at the one square, and kids just bombarded you. Start pulling on your shirts and stuff. And they told us in the bus not to, don't feed them, don't give them money. They're there to beg for money because they're working for somebody. And you felt bad, your heart went out to them, but we didn't. They just pulled on you, get back on the bus. And then we just went back to Hong Kong. We came home.
Well, we didn't think about it at first. I mean, it's one of those things, if it's not in your own backyard, you don't, you know what I mean? It's bad to say this, but that's where I was at that time. That was their issue. That's how it was in China. And what could I do? There were so many children. I couldn't help them all. And why did God send us to China? Why did He allow us to see that and experience that? And so we're supposed to go back there and bring one of those kids home. And so I just started checking out different adoption agencies. And since we were new to all this, and I really didn't know anyone who had adopted overseas, so that there was scary. Where she lived, at that time there was like 108 babies, and they would double them up in cribs, and they would try to get the babies out for an hour a day, but whether that happened or not, I don't know. They just didn't have time. And when they would feed the babies, the ones that were fed by spoon, they'd usually just gather them all on the floor with one bowl, one spoon, and so if one baby was sick, they all got sick.
But just when they handed her, it just, you knew it was right. I mean, and then when I held her, it was just, we knew she was ours. It was a gift from God, He matched this child with us. And till this day, you can tell she's a part of us. A lot of people will fear that when you adopt, you're not going to have that bond like you do with your child. And it might be different for other people, but for us, it was instant. With Cammy, it was just instant.
When they handed her to me, she was so much smaller than I thought she was going to be. And I didn't even look at her, really. I just took her and just put her into my chest. I'll always remember how that felt the first time I held her. It just she just melded into my body.
Kyle, our son, he was 14.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think a 14-year-old boy would just he was right there, holding her. Our plan was we were having our kids early, the first two. And by 50, I was retiring, I was done, and the American dream.
But when Cammy first came home, we didn't plan to adopt again. I mean, life just felt so full with her in our lives, and they sent a listing out of children on the waiting list that they couldn't match up to anyone, and there was one girl, and it was Kaya. And he was at a ball game. He was watching our oldest at her softball game. So I called him on the phone. I said, there's one little girl, but she's 9 years old. We weren't planning on that. By the time he got home, I had her picture on the fridge. And he was like, yep, that's her. He didn't even read her paperwork or anything. And then my son comes home. He's like, yep, Mom, that's the one. And I was the one who dragged my feet with Kaya. I had heard all the stories of adopting older children, all the different things that can happen, and that wasn't what I had planned. But I couldn't say no, especially when my son, by that time he was 16, he said something to me like, "Mom, you said we need to help those that need us." I was going through the motions. I was doing everything we needed to do to bring Kai home, but I was still dragging my feet about it. It scared me. It was through a song that I felt God was speaking to me that it was going to be okay. This is the path. It may not be the path you chose, but this is the path I want you to go down. And you know, she was 9, and she only knew like a handful of English words and didn't even know what they meant. So I had a picture dictionary that I took with me to China, and we would point at pictures and try to figure out what she wanted.
I went back into foster care, and I didn't realize how much you attach to them kids, and I told her I can't do it again. I said I can adopt again, but I just couldn't keep bringing kids in and then they leave. It was rough.
Well, we knew we would take a child that had a need. We knew that when we started. And we said boy or girl, knowing we'd probably get a boy. We really won't know until we get him home how severe his cleft is. They really can't give us much information right now. So I've talked with the cleft team down in Columbus, and they told me we won't know until we get him home and get him checked how much he's going to need.
This is our dossier. 7 months of physicals, interviews, fingerprinting, you name it, we've done it. It's ready to go to China.
I think Matthew's adoption has really rekindled that in us, that we want to get involved in orphan ministry and try to help other families bring home children. I hope to see more people step up, and we want to help them.
It was neat in our Sunday school class that one of the ladies in there, they said they felt a part of it. They said, we feel like we're a part of your adoption. That's what we want. They're going to be a part of his life. I mean, adoption is not for everybody. You know, everybody can do something, but adoption isn't for everybody. But we feel that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what we're called to do.